Welcome to the Positive Impact Podcast, where we talk about all topics related to the game that I love. I'm your host, Terrell Dozier, and tonight's guest is former NBA player, lottery pick, LSU great, Mr. Tyrus Thomas.
What's good? What's up? What's up?
What's going on with you, man?
Ain't nothing. I feel like Teddy Riley. I'm trying to work this Instagram live.
It's okay, man. We got you on, man. You look clear right now. Appreciate you coming through, man.
Word. Thanks for having me, man.
Nah, no worries, man. I definitely want to get into your story and dissect this thing, man, and show you and definitely show you some love, man, and get people to remember what a baller you was. You understand what I'm saying? So let's jump right into it, man. Like talk to me about growing up in Baton Rouge.
Um, what you want to know? You gotta be more direct. Like you gotta. It's a lot, so you gotta be specific. To get the right answers, you gotta ask the right questions.
I want to know everything. I want to know who put the ball in your hand. You know what I'm saying? I want to know what drove you to get to the point where you got to. Don't hold
Uh,
back.
Man, honestly, though, like basketball for me. And just looking back at it now, like basketball was an escape for me. Um, and I wasn't never like a 5-star All-American, none of that shit. So basketball was really like, and I didn't realize basketball was an escape for me until basketball was over, because I played it for so long. I've been on organized ball since I was like 4 years old. So, basketball was just one of them things that it kept my mind occupied. It kept my mind occupied from life and other things that were going on. And um, I just played the game in a way like, I gave it my all. Like I wasn't the skill set that I had came after I got to the NBA. Like I just was hard and hustle, and that was the that was that what was made me. So, you know, um just playing hard got me to where I got.
No question about it. So you kind of got like a little Michael Jordan type of situation going on where you tried out for your varsity team as a freshman and got cut.
Oh
Um,
man, they had good dudes though. Like we
okay.
had good dudes. Like I'm not finna act like it was unjust.
Mhm.
We had good dudes. Like my freshman year, you had guys who were seniors that have been starting varsity on an all state caliber team for 3 years since they were
Mhm.
freshmen. So,
Mhm.
basketball, especially at that time in South Louisiana, guys didn't make it because the streets, like guys was making money, but they was still hooping. So, it wasn't no slouches. So,
Mhm.
I still play JV. I still,
Mhm.
you know what I'm saying? So it's not like I didn't play basketball. I hate that narrative. That narrative is make it seem like I didn't pick up a basketball until I was in high school. I've been on organized basketball since I was 4 years old.
Mhm.
I mean, I don't know. Again, I wasn't a 5-star enough, and so it wasn't expected for me to play a star varsity my freshman year, my sophomore year. You know what I'm saying? So it's like I hate that narrative. That narrative sucks. It's stupid. It's like it's a stupid narrative. Like it's a stupid narrative when they say that like guys got cut. I didn't make varsity. Like
Mhm.
okay,
Mhm. Mhm.
you know what
Mhm.
I'm saying? I still play ball though.
Right, right. Now I like that. Like we like to get the real. You know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah, yeah,
a lot
yeah.
of stuff about people. is that's all that people see. So
Right, right, right.
it's good to get you up on here and say, nah, it ain't like that. You know what I mean? So I appreciate you. I
Yeah,
appreciate
yeah,
you
yeah.
clearing that up.
It wasn't like that. You know, they had
Mm-hmm.
legit guys that could play.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it just is what it is. You know, I think my freshman year, my high school, I think Marcus might have been all state and Big Banks was all state. And then my sophomore years, we probably had like 2 or 3 dudes that was like all metro. You know what I'm saying? So like we had
Mm-hmm.
legit guys. Like we had legit guys that could play.
No question. And so you caught a growth spurt in high school too. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Which
So
is
when I left my sophomore year, I was like 6'1". When I came back for junior year, I was like 6'6". So, you know, I had a nice growth spurt that, you know, also helped take my game to another level.
mm-hmm. You blew up. You know, like you said, you weren't like a top 100 recruit, McDonald's All American type, but
Nah, none of
you
that.
know what I'm saying. But you know, you just balled out. Um, you signed to go. You signed to go to LSU.
Well, what happened
Mm-hmm.
was I committed to the U.
Mm-hmm.
When
Okay.
Perry Clark was at the U, I
Yes.
committed to the U.
Okay.
And so probably like a week, it wasn't even a whole week. It was a couple days before signing day. I signed in a late signing period. And so like my biggest schools that were recruiting me as far as conferences, I had the U and I had Virginia Tech. So, you know, there's both ACC. They weren't really like powerhouse names, but in my mind, shit, either one of them, I get to play the top competition every night. You know what I'm saying? So I was big on Virginia Tech and the U. So I wound up committing to the U. It was between Virginia Tech and the U. And when I committed to the U, that happened with Perry Clark, and Seth Greenberg was the coach at Virginia Tech at the time.
Mm-hmm.
And so, and me and Seth talked, like, I ain't gonna lie. Seth probably was the best recruiter I ever had. Like, as far as just genuine, honest, he wasn't promising me nothing.
Right.
He was promising me an opportunity to come in and play. Well, to come in and earn time to play.
Mm-hmm.
But I liked the team, I liked everybody, but when I got to the U, it was just it was something different. You know what I'm saying? So I actually committed on the spot. I wasn't even there 24 hours. Like,
I
coach, I'm
bet.
coming.
I
I'm
bet.
coming. I'm coming. You know what I'm saying? And so when all that happened, and again, man, this is just about to show you how like Baton Rouge basketball was like. I actually got a scholarship. LSU actually asked me to walk on before I even committed to Virginia Tech.
Mm-hmm.
So, man, I ain't got no fucking money. My grades was straight, but they wasn't like that to where I was gonna get like scholarship money.
Mm-hmm.
And so, something happened. Another guy that was in JUCO, that was from Baton Rouge, he got in some trouble. And when he got in trouble, they took his scholarship, and that left his scholarship open for me. But again, that was another guy that was from Baton Rouge that would have been on that same team. You know what I'm saying? So like again, Baton Rouge was so loaded with talent. Like that narrative sucks. That
Yeah.
narrative takes away from the guys that like really could hoop and just had life troubles.
Right.
You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
Yeah.
So that's how I wound up at LSU.
Mm-hmm.
It was kind of it just happened. You know
Right.
what I'm saying? So yeah.
So you get to LSU and you redshirted your first year.
Yeah, I did.
So talk about that. Like, what was that year like? Not being able to play, but I think you could practice that year. So
Oh
talk
man,
about
it was
making that
crazy.
adjustment.
It was crazy because I had a chip on my shoulder already. Because it's like I'm at a place that, yeah, and I always had this sentiment. And it's crazy because me and John Brady talk now more with our coach. Then we talk more now than we did when I was at school. And when I was in school, we used to get in it, and it would be more of like I was kind of like a hurt kid because it's like, man, why you handling me like this? You didn't want me here no way. So whatever I do is a bonus. Like you asked me to walk on. You know what I'm saying? And so I almost kind of felt like that was my last best option, if that makes sense.
Okay.
So I had a big chip on my shoulder when I was there because it's like, hey, You asked me to walk on, bro. So like, you obviously don't believe in me enough to, you know what I'm saying? And it's kind of I felt like it was one of them situations where, hey, you know, the last thing we need is for this kid. Like my dorm, I could walk from my dorm room to my house faster than I could walk to half of my classes.
Mm.
So it's like, you know, in the sense of like, man, we can't let this kid get out of here and blow up, but we don't really have that, you know, that faith in him or that belief in him. And so I used that shit. Like that shit was motivation for me. You know, my red shirt year, I worked out every day, every night. Like I literally would not go to class and go to the gym. And it was like I had a point to prove. You know, yeah, like that just, you know, that's kind of how that my fuel while I was at LSU was more so because they asked me to red shirt.
Right.
Like that the entire time. It was just, the entire 2 years I was there, it was literally like, man, I gotta prove something to y'all. You know.
Yeah. So you talking about having a chip on.
BG.
Yes,
My
sir.
dude.
I keep telling Ben Gordon, man, he need to get up on here. Ben, I'm coming for you, dog. I'm
Yeah,
coming for you,
man. You
man.
know, being
Gotta get him
moving,
on here.
being way, you just gotta love being for Ben, man.
Absolutely.
You gotta love
Absolutely.
BG for being BG, man.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely, man. So you talking about a chip on your shoulder. And
Right.
clearly, the way you came out that next year shows that you had a chip on your shoulder. So
No question.
you SEC Freshman of the Year. You guys go to the Final Four. You the regional MVP. You Defensive Player of the Year, second team or SEC. So all that work and all that fuel that you was talking about came out on a national stage that year, man. Like, just talk about what it was like being all built up and then finally getting the opportunity to prove like everybody wrong, basically.
Man, I wish I I was so angry, dog. I wish I could handle it different now.
Yeah.
I wish I could go back and do some things different. But you know, it just was one of them. Like I played angry, bro. I wish I knew how to channel
Chandler.
that then, you know, like, but it literally was just like, man, where I come from, South Baton Rouge, just in general, man, it's like either they with you or they against you,
Mm-hmm.
you know, and you kind of develop that mentality, like either you with me or you in my way.
Yeah.
It's not really an in between. Like you can't kind of be on my side, like either you with me or you in my way. And you know, I kind of felt like it was just me against everybody. You know, it was a lot. Like being at LSU it was emotionally taxing for me for a lot of reasons. You know, and I made the best of it. You know, I made the best of it.
Nah, y'all had a crew, you, Big Baby, Tasman
Yeah,
Mitchell,
Garrett
Garrett
Temple,
Temple. Yeah,
yeah, Darryl Mitchell, Donnell Lazar. You know,
yeah. Tack
we
Tack
did.
Minor was young.
Tack, well, yeah, he was ineligible. Tack was
Okay,
ineligible.
okay,
Tack ain't play. Tack
okay.
my dude, but if Tack would have played, we wouldn't have went to no damn Final Four. Tack my dude though. Tack, I
Yeah.
love Tack. Yeah,
Strong guard. Tack a strong guard, boy.
fullback, point fullback. But yeah, man, you know, so it was like, you know, I wish I could go back and enjoy it more. I don't think I enjoyed playing throughout my whole career from LSU through the NBA. I didn't enjoy playing as much just 'cause I was so mad all the time.
Mm-hmm.
But shit, I had to be mad to play, to perform.
Right.
You know, so it's kind of that gift and that curse.
Nah, I can definitely understand that. So, like I said, you blew up in that one year. You guys go to the Final Four, so you got to be thinking like, are you thinking like, damn, my
Nah,
stock is at the highest that it
nah,
might be? Like, what are
nah,
you thinking?
nah. I literally ain't think about the draft until after we lost to Texas. I
Okay.
mean to UCLA.
Okay.
Like because that wasn't never like, man, I grew up with Glenn and Taz, like them the All Americans, them the
Right.
niggas people come and see. Like them
Right.
the, you know, when the scouts was coming to the gym, they coming to see Glenn, they coming to see Taz. I'm just hooping.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just doing what I do.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? And so that even made it more difficult because I was thrown in the fire for something that I never even prepared for. Like
Mm-hmm.
I never even thought about. Like my first time ever. And granted, we know the rules, what the rules say, But my first time literally ever having a conversation with anybody that was close to a sports agent was like a week before I picked my agent. Like, I ain't know nobody. I ain't have no my guys or,
Right.
like, I couldn't pick up the phone and call these other guys from Adidas and Nike like these other guys could because they played on the circuit. Like, I ain't know nobody. So
Yeah.
I'm just freelancing. You know what I'm saying? Me and my family just freelancing.
Mm.
So, it kind of was I don't really know. It was a weird situation. It's like I know people see all the silver linings, but it's hard for me. I mean, I still see them, and I'm thankful. But it was so much darkness just because I was in the blind.
Right. Nah, no question about it. So describe your process. You know what I mean? You said you chose an agent and then you had to go through pre-draft workouts and everything to get ready. So what was that like learning the business? Like you said, a lot of kids grow up learning the business when they 12 and 13 years old. Like what
I
was
still,
that like?
man, I ain't learned the business till I was damn near out the league. You know
Okay.
what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like it was just like even like my situation was so weird and like when I look back at it, like my process was like literally, agents calling, boom, boom. So I'm like, all right, man, fuck, I gotta make a decision. I don't even know if I'm leaving school yet or not.
Mm-hmm.
Like I still don't know if I'm leaving school. I didn't want to leave school.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't want to leave school at all. My mom was working at a juvenile detention center, and I can't remember exactly what at this time, but it was like she was going through some shit with her bosses and stuff. And so I remember her like I remember her taking like a month vacation because my mom worked for years, so she had built up vacation, built up. She took like a month, and she was like, I just got to figure something out. Like, I don't really want to go back there, but this is what I got. And so this was in like February. And then it was like right before the tournament. It was like right before the tournament. Because I remember, yeah, it was. It was right in the, it was right, and it was like right before the SEC tournament. Because I didn't play in the SEC tournament. It was like right before the SEC, I had a high ankle sprain. And so like even that is like I gotta figure something out. Like I shouldn't have been at that time, but like I just felt like, man, I gotta figure something out to help my mom. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
And so on top of that, my grandmother worked at a sorority house on campus as a housekeeper.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's like, shit, man, I can't really come back to school with my grandmother cleaning toilets, my mama trying to figure out what she finna do, she unhappy, and so I kind of made a decision, like I did what I felt I had to do as a man at the time. You know what I'm saying? And still being a kid.
Mm-hmm.
But I felt like that was my responsibility.
Mm-hmm.
But if I could go back, I probably would have came back to school another year.
Another year. Okay.
Yeah.
So you go number 4 in the draft, lottery
Mm-hmm.
pick, you know what I'm saying? And you get drafted by Portland, and then you got traded to Chicago that night for LaMarcus Aldridge.
Mm-hmm.
So, you make it, you know what I mean? You're in the league now, you're in a position to help your family a little bit. Describe your rookie year with Chicago.
Uh, a lot of darkness. Like it was just dark because I was homesick. Like I was laughing with somebody today, and that's, I guess it's a little further just about the dunk contest, the shit I said. But it's like, man, I was homesick. I wanted to be home.
Mm-hmm.
Like I just, like I had never left Baton Rouge for that long, ever.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So now at this point, it's like I'm out here. I'm in Chicago. I'm 19. I just made 20. Like I used to hang out with PJ Brown family.
Mm-hmm.
Like I would be at PJ Brown house and Ben Wallace house, and them niggas like my big uncles.
Mm-hmm.
But it's like I don't, at the time it's like I'm a kid. Like I just left from living in a dorm room. You know what
Mm-hmm.
I'm saying? Like, and I wasn't even thinking, hey, I'm gonna be a one and done. Like, so I wasn't prepared. I was prepared to just be a kid, just play ball, And so now when go to practice, go home by yourself, go back to the gym and work out, go back home by yourself, And it's like I'm used to just clowning and hanging out and like being around people I know, like so I'd be calling Garrett and Glenn and Tam, like, man, what y'all doing? Man, we going to class. Why you keep calling us? I'm like, man, I'm bored. You know what I'm saying? But like, I literally used to cry. Dog, I used to cry. Like, I used to go home and cry. Like, man, almost like, what have I done? You know what I'm saying? Like, I was just so. It was a dark space. Like, it was bittersweet. Like, it was a lot of silver linings in that. But it just was I didn't know how to cope with that.
Mm. That's crazy. So it's crazy to hear because you think like as a basketball player, you make the NBA, it's the best time of your life. Like, you know what I mean? And to
Yeah,
hear you
I mean, well,
describe
it was a lot. Like even with that, with media, like my rookie year, like I didn't know how to like. At the end of the day, you talking about me, like you're a reporter and you writing something false. That's personal to me.
mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Like I'm not understanding that this guy has a job and literally his job is to be controversial, to sell stories. But for me, like, man, that's personal. Like you talking about me, you don't know me, and you wrong.
Yeah.
And so I didn't know how to. Now I'm on a stage where if something is written, I come from Baton Rouge where we got the Advocate. You know what I'm saying? So now I'm in a situation where if if uh if Casey Johnson writes something in the Chicago Sun-Times, it's gonna be in the New York Times, it's gonna be in the Herald,
Yeah.
it's gonna be back home in the Times-Picayune,
Yeah.
and it's like, hey, hold on, he wrong.
Yeah.
Like that's not accurate.
Right.
And so now, and so it was a few times like where the media, I would do something and the media would perceive it one way, and it's like that bothered me. And so how I was raised and, growing up in the neighborhood I grew up in, you learn how to not show when things are bothering you.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? I can't be vulnerable. Like they're pissing me off, they hurt my feelings.
Yeah.
But I can't let you know you hurt my feelings.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And so like it took me a long time to navigate that whole, like those are the things that brought darkness over me, like dealing with the media, you know, um, being an introvert and not even knowing what the fuck an introvert was.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So now I'm feeling weird because I don't like being around people. All these people coming up to me asking me for my autograph, and now I'm perceived as the asshole when really y'all making me nervous. Y'all driving my anxiety through the roof.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't know how to deal with all that. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Like I didn't understand that. I didn't understand. We had a psychiatrist, but this little white dude, I'm not talking to you.
Right.
Where I'm from, man, we don't need no help. I ain't crazy. I don't need no shrink. You
Right.
know what I'm saying? So, but like those are the things that kind of like brought the black clouds because those are the things that I dealt with every day.
Mm-hmm.
So at practice, I'm fine, but practice only 2 hours a day. During the game, I'm fine.
Mm-hmm.
Game is only so many hours, but every time else, the downtime is, just thoughts and trying to figure it out. And I got it wrong a lot,
Yeah. Yeah.
but I got it right some too. You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying?
No
So
question. So, there's some things that you said that you wish you could have done differently at LSU. Do you wish you had the tools at that time to maybe talk a little bit more about what was bothering you and
yeah,
you know
yeah,
what I'm
yeah,
saying?
yeah, no question. Like
Yeah.
I just, like even there, it was just so much darkness at LSU because I never felt wanted. And when I felt wanted, it was undeniable. So you ain't got no choice but to play me.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? You ain't got no choice. I'm giving you 10 and 10 and 3 blocks off the bench in 16 minutes. You ain't got
Yeah.
no choice but to play me.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So it's not even your choice no more. Like
Mm-hmm.
I forced your hand.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? And
Yeah.
so it just was it was like being at that auntie house who she only watching you because you her sister's child, not because she really like you. You know what I'm saying?
Gotcha.
Like I gotta be here. I don't really
Yeah.
want to be here, but I gotta be here. And you don't really want me here, but you know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
So it was, yeah.
So talk a little bit talk a little bit also, you also said that, because you just brought that back up, and that feeling of not being wanted when you were at LSU, and the relationship that you had with your coach then, as opposed to the relationship that you have with your coach now. How did you guys get over that? You know what I'm saying? Because obviously you felt some kind of way. How did you get to the point where you're at right now? Because I had a situation when I was in college too with my coach, and you're just not mature enough to have them, to have that conversation with them at the time. So talk about that and how you guys mended that fence.
Man, you just grow. We actually laugh about shit now, but you just grow, man. For me, it was just growth. I learned how to stop taking shit so personal.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I used to take everything personal because I never knew business. I never understood, my life was just personal. Everything in my life was personal. People in my life, it was either, it is or it's not. Like, it's not, a political decision or a strategical decision. It just is what it is.
Yeah.
So when I learned to not take things so personal, it became easy for me to forgive and not feel like I've been done wrong, if that makes sense.
No,
Because sometimes we can feel like people done us wrong when they really didn't.
nah, it's that
You know what I'm
accountability.
saying? But we got so much frustration and stuff built up that we look like everything that they're doing to us is wrong. So just getting older and learning how to forgive and just growth.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Absolutely. So you played 4 years in Chicago,
mm-hmm.
and then you get traded to Charlotte for Flip Murray. You know what I'm saying? I personally remember you in Charlotte because one of my best friends, Steve Silas, was down there. My relationship with him. Talk about your time in Charlotte and where you were at then.
Man, Charlotte was such a blur. Those 3.5 years went by so fast. Like, I had so many life transitions. I got married, divorced in Charlotte. I was in Charlotte for 2 years. My last 2 years rehabbing my shoulder just to find out when they amnestied me, I had to have spinal cord surgery. You know what I'm saying? So it's like I re-signed for less money to be the sixth man, and they blow the team up. Like it just was a lot. Like, it was a lot. Like, Charlotte was a lot emotionally for me. Because I just wanted to hoop. Like, I ain't care about, like, man, I don't care about all the political shit y'all gotta go do up there in the front office. Just let us hoop. You know what I'm saying? And again, like I said, I ain't understand the business until I was out the door.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Even then, and I'm in my fifth, sixth, and seventh year, but I'm still 24, 25, 26.
Yeah.
Well, actually 23, 24, 25.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So it's like, you guys are telling me to be a vet, and that, man, I'm 25. I'm trying to hoop. I ain't got time. You talking about these young kids? We got rookies on the team that's a year under me, year younger than me. I ain't trying to hear none of that.
Yeah.
And so it just was 3 coaches. I was in Chicago for 3.5 years. I had 3 coaches. I get to Charlotte, 3.5 years, 3 coaches. And it was just a lot, man. Like, just trying to, I got a label of being uncoachable, but shit, I ain't had a coach for 2 years.
Yeah.
I ain't played for one coach in 2 years since my junior year of high school. You know what I'm saying? And so it's like those things, like those trying to figure out. When I finally figured out what Scott Skiles wanted from me as a player, he was out the door. And so the rest of the season, I got to do what Jim Boylan wants, and then he's out the door. And then by the time I figure out what Vinny want, me and him got such a strained relationship, that I'm out the door.
Yeah.
Me and Larry, I fall in love with Larry Brown, and now he's out the door. The media tried to make it seem like me and Paul Silas had this big beef, which was bull, but now he's out the door. And then now you bring in this guy who, the year before, he was the interim coach at St. John's that didn't even make the NIT.
Yeah.
How the hell you get an NBA head coaching job?
Yeah.
How?
Yeah.
Like, how? How? This guy was the interim coach for a team that didn't make the NIT. And so even like shit like that, I saw the clip, like, it's things like that that made me rock with Steve so tough. Cause I'm watching you more qualified than all of these motherfuckers. All of them. You know what I'm saying? And it's just like, I'm just like, a right is right, wrong is wrong. And like, it just was a lot of shit, in my opinion, that was wrong there. And Charlotte was a blur. And I had some fucked up personal issues too. I was living in a movie in my own personal life. But yeah, like, it just was a blur, man. It was a blur. Like I say, I re-signed to a team that was dismantled within 3 months. So after Larry Brown left, after Larry left, man, it was over for me. You know what I'm saying? Like, I start going back into like a depressed mode, just because it's like, I gotta keep trying to figure this shit out. Yeah, Charlotte was weird. It was good though, but it was weird. It was weird. It was weird. Again, just trying to understand basketball, the business of basketball. I was never good with that. I was never good with hiding my emotions. I was never good with lying.
Right.
I was never good with saying everything is okay when it's not.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Right. And so, but I didn't do it the right way. So, of course, that comes with backlash.
No question about it. And so, like, obviously, like today, like, there's a lot of guys coming out with saying they have anxieties and, the mental health thing, you know what I'm saying, or whatever. And you talk about, depression and being in dark places, like, were people there for you? You know what I mean? Like, who are the people that you spoke to, if anybody, when you
I
got into
didn't.
dark places?
I didn't. And so, I think it's twofold. I think sometimes people don't know how to be there, but then I think also we don't know how to allow people to be there. And I think for me, it was both.
Okay.
Not only did I not, it's kind of like the people that could help, I didn't want their help. I wanted help from those that couldn't help, if that makes sense.
Okay, gotcha.
I want y'all to be the ones to help me get through this, but y'all not capable. Right. And so it was resources there. I'm not gonna act like it was, but again, it was the lack of understanding, and then that pride part, you know. 'Cause I'm still a man, even with my twisted definition of what that may be. Like, I'm a man, you know what I'm saying? And so sometimes that could be a curse, because you know, especially in the black community, we're taught to be stronger than sometimes we have to be.
Yeah.
And which can be very detrimental. So yeah, I ain't gonna act like people weren't there. I think it was just that gap in allowing and having those that were really capable.
Nah, I got you. Nah, that definitely makes a lot of sense. So after you were amnesty, from Charlotte, then you had a brief stint in the D League and the Memphis Grizzlies, but there was like a 2-year gap there before you.
All right. So when I got amnesty, my agent at the time, I was like, "Yo, look, something wrong with my shoulder. Like, I got to figure this out. If I don't figure this out, I'm gonna just get cut again." You know what I'm saying? I had a couple deals on the table. Um, and so he's like, "All right, cool, man. I go to all kind of therapists and doctors, and ain't nothing wrong with my shoulder. Like, nobody could find nothing wrong with my shoulder. Orthopedics, nobody." And so one orthopedic, he did something where he pinched me, and he was like, "You gotta go see a neurologist." So I go see the neurologist. I find out. So now this is like probably like, I got amnestied in like April. It's probably like August, November. I mean August, October, because it was still right before training camp that I found out I had it. And so they was like, "Hey, this is what you got. You got atrophy on your right side. You gotta we're gonna either have to have surgery. You know, basically you have to have surgery or you ain't gonna be able to hoop. So I'm like, shit, on my spinal cord, cool. And at the time I was going through a divorce too. So I'm like, man, I was just in a dark place. Like I was drinking heavy. I was drinking a lot. Like, I was drinking heavy. And I wound up going to I was in Houston, and when I told the doctor there, that's when I'm like, man, fuck it, I'm gonna just go home. And Dr. Bankston at LSU, he wound up sending me to I can't think of the doctor's name no more, but he's a neurologist in Baton Rouge. And so we wound up scheduling the surgeries. It's like October. We scheduled the surgery for like, man, I wound up having surgery like April of 2014. But before then, they tried different stuff, like trying to stick needles in my back and get the cysts out. All kind of stuff wouldn't work. So I don't know if y'all still got a little. Thank you for seeing right here, maybe. I don't know, but I got a plate and stuff in my neck, so I had to have my C5 and 6 taken out. And so yeah, like that put me in a dark place. It's like, man, I don't know what I'm. You know, like my life was falling apart. Divorce, got cut, can't hoop. You know, it's just a lot. And worked out after surgery. I still had to wait, and it's crazy because I probably killed my career by being so anxious. I got released to work. Like I ain't do nothing from April of 2013. I probably worked out like 2 months. But so from May, June, July of 2013 to November of 2015, I ain't do nothing. I couldn't run, I couldn't jump, I couldn't have no sudden movements. I ain't do nothing. I literally worked out from November. I worked out all of November, all of December. Played in the D League showcase in January, and I was with Memphis for a little bit. And I just feel like I should have just waited. I feel like I should have just rehabbed the whole, like all the way up to the next training camp. You know, but I just needed that ball because I was going through so much. I just needed that. I just needed the hoop. You know what I'm saying? I just needed the hoop. But so that was why that gap was so, was so wide.
Okay. So after the D League, then you went overseas to Germany?
I did Germany. I was in Bremerhaven, Eisbären, Bremerhaven. And I was over there for like 9 months.
Yeah. And so when did you feel like, okay, like enough is enough, like it's time for me
I
to
came home early. Just my body wasn't right. Mentally I wasn't right. You know, I actually came home. My agent at the time, he laughed because I think around August that year, I got an invite to camp with the Nuggets, and I couldn't go. I just told him I can't go, man. And I had been working out again since I've been back physically, but mentally I just couldn't go. And I told him like I'm not in a space mentally to play ball. You know, it still kind of haunt me today, but I mean I wasn't there. Like I just wasn't in that space, and I knew it. You know what I'm saying? I didn't want to go, man. I think one thing for me that I saw all the time that I hated was like guys taking up space. And I couldn't go to camp and get this money and take somebody's spot knowing that I ain't even fully invested. You know what I'm saying? Somebody else could possibly make that team. A younger kid, you know what I'm saying? Somebody who need that bag. You know what I'm saying? It's kind of like, that's just how I always think. Like I say, it still haunt me a little bit now, but I mean, shit, we could do about it.
Right. Nah, you got to grow from it. That's it.
Right. That's all you can do.
So talk about once you hung it up, once you're done now, I'm done. What was the first step that you took to get to where you're at today? Like, what was that talk that you had with yourself or that talk that you had with somebody else that started your journey to where you're at right now?
So right now, man, I'm coaching high school basketball, assistant coach at Lehigh. I'm back in school getting my degree. So, you know, the goal is to coach college. And man, when I think like the talk with myself was more of like, all right, you got a gift. You know what I'm saying? And I don't think people know how. It's not a thing. I know people don't know how intellectually inclined I am, especially with basketball.
Mm-hmm.
And so it was like, man, you got a gift and you got a passion for helping kids. And so more than just basketball, I've used basketball to be like that conduit to get into kids, in life. And I think what happened when I just realized, like, hey, you made it this far, you had this much success, and you ain't never have nobody that been where you went come back and show you how to get there.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? And so it was like, that's when it's like, all right, part of your calling is to be real. You know what I'm saying? Like, and that's to share your experiences, the good, but most definitely the bad,
Mm-hmm.
and allow people to grow from, what I'm saying, your experiences. And so, like, it kind of was just one of them. It took me a minute. It took me probably like 2 years to like fully accept that, hey, I'm done hooping. I'm a coach, and this is what it means to be a coach.
Okay. So so when you get with your kids, what's the message that you're giving to your kids?
It depends on what kid it is.
Mm-hmm.
You can't give them all the same message.
Right.
You can't love them all the same. You
Mm-hmm.
can't teach them all the same,
Mm-hmm.
and every message isn't for every kid. So it just kind of depends. I mean, what stays true is, we're going to work hard in everything that we do.
Mm-hmm.
Basketball, school, life. You know what I'm saying? We're going to be good people. You know what I'm saying? You got to be a good person around me. We can't be no buttholes. You
Mm-hmm.
know what I'm saying? And you got to be genuine. You got to be genuine and you got to be authentic.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? And after that, if we can learn how to do those things, everything else is going to come. If you can work hard, be a good person, and be genuine and authentic, you'll get everything that's supposed to come to you.
Absolutely.
Whether that's sports, whether that's whatever that is. You know what I'm saying? If we could do those three things, and now that's the base of it. That's the pillars. But then, that message, it just depends on what kind of kid I'm dealing with. You know what I'm saying?
Now
Some
I
of the
like
kids don't even play sports. I'm
right.
coached to a lot of kids, man.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Like, especially when you're around schools, and I didn't realize it, man. I'm coached to a lot of kids.
Mm-hmm.
You know, kids come up, girls, boys, with coach, what? Coach, I got this guy. I don't even know you. But they feel I'm a safe space to those kids.
Right.
And I value that. I value it. It's something about being a safe space for vulnerable kids, man.
Mm-hmm.
And I think because I didn't have that I feel the need to be that.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and I didn't try to be that. It just happened.
Mm-hmm.
You know. So that's my thing is that work hard. Be genuine, be a good person, and if we could do that in life, then everything that we're supposed to get gonna come to us.
Nice. I like that. And the thing I like the most, and it's kind of been a theme on my show lately, is a lot of guys who left school early but are coming back to get their degrees. So I applaud you for coming back
Word, appreciate it.
and knowing, knowing that's important to take your next step. And I think when we work with kids, that's like one of the big things, because the first thing that we do is we preach education. So we want to make sure we have ours in the bag too, so that we can say, hey, I
Yeah,
wish
you
I can
got
get
to.
mine.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So as we get ready to wrap up, I like to ask, some little quick hitters that, and kind of get into your head a little bit. So who was the toughest player that you ever played against?
Shit. God, for what you want. Cause
Give
I
me
done had some crazy assignments. I done had to check Bean. I done had to check Joe Johnson.
uh-huh.
I done had to check She. She might have been the toughest.
Rasheed Wallace.
Yes. Like, he's so underrated. She's so underrated.
Yes.
She's so, and so, like, me and she kind of developed like I say, like, like Big Ben was like my big brother, my big uncle, my first year and a half.
Mm-hmm.
So anytime we on the road and we in Detroit, or then, what I'm saying, I'm hanging out with him and she. So, like, she now, so she that he got that little, you know, I'm the little homie now.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So I'm talking about, I know she gave me the toughest 36 one game, and he telling me like, hey, I'm finna spin off the right shoulder and I'm going off the glass. And then, you know, he shoot the ball. He's 7 feet. He shoot the ball high.
Yeah.
There's nothing you can really do. You know
Right.
what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like he dropped the shoulder in your chest and slide back and shoot it off the glass. And by the time it's nothing you could do.
Yeah.
So I probably say like either she, KG, Joe Johnson, of course Bean.
Mm-hmm.
This is guys that I've matched up with. Joe might have been the most exhausting matchup though.
Joe Johnson.
Like, yeah, a guy that's like he like a legit 6'8", 6'9", 240, playing the two, running off screens. Like it's just crazy. It's just crazy. You know, it's like you so tired on defense that I don't even want the ball. Don't look at me. I'm not going to catch no oop.
Right.
I ain't doing none of that. Like
Right.
just go, y'all. I'm gonna go sit in this corner right now and wait till we get back on the other end.
Right. Why Big Baby talking about he was your toughest matchup?
Man, I bust his ass in practice from goddamn 17, 16. Hey, but nah, Glenn was a problem too.
A load, man.
But Glenn was a problem, but he wasn't no problem for me. I knew, you know, we was around each other too much. Mm-hmm. So I know what you're gonna do. I know, you know what I'm saying? I knew all his moves. You know what I'm saying? So that's my dude though.
No doubt, man. We gotta get you on, Big Baby. So give me.
Man, stop typing your name. We know who you is.
Give me.
Oh, the playoffs. Hey, that was dope. That was. We went at each other.
Give me your starting five from LSU.
My starting five from LSU.
All time. I don't care who it is. Give me who it is.
All time, I'm going with Pistol Pete Mavericks.
Pistol.
Glenn finna be mad at me. Glenn finna be mad at me because he's not gonna make it.
Good. Let's piss him off so we can get on here. He can talk about you.
I'm going with Pistol Pete.
Uh-huh.
I'm going with, of course, Mahmoud Raouf.
Yeah.
I'm going with shit. We got Shaq. I'm gonna make it easy. I'm gonna work my way back.
Okay.
All right. I'm gonna go. Damn, yo, this finna be tough. I think I go. Of course, you go Pistol, Mahmoud. You got Shaq, and I'm gonna put Taz in that. I'm gonna put Taz in that, and I think I'm gonna have to go ahead and give Glenn that fifth spot. They got a lot of bigs though. We had a lot of bigs.
Yeah.
We had a lot of bigs. So it's like you got, and so it's like I can't say we got Bob Petty who's top 50 NBA, but I ain't see that. Right. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I got
Rudy Macklin, I ain't see that. You know what I'm saying? And so if you talking about a starting five, well, I gotta go by position. That's how I'm gonna go Shaq at the 5 and put Glenn at the 4, Taz at the 3. 1 and 2 in my backcourt. You got Pistol and Mahmoud. Yeah, you know, but we got a whole. I mean, that's not fair.
Yeah, it's a lot.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I played with Darryl Mitchell, who's top 5. I think he's top 5 or top 10 in scoring all time at LSU. You know, you got Brandon Bass. You got Vernell Singleton. You got Stanley Roberts. You got Randy Livingston. You got, you know, like, hey man,
Ronnie Henderson.
You got
Ronnie Henderson.
You got Ronnie Henderson. You got, you know, and then when you talk about guys who came through just quickly, you got me, Strohmeyer. You got Ben Simmons. You got Anthony Randolph. You got, man, it's like, you know, we got some guys. Like, we got some guys that came through there. You know, and so you know, it just that'll be my 5 though. My 5 would be probably Chris. And I ain't watched Pistol, but that's undeniable. You can't take that out. You know, Man, he asked for the starting five, man. Get out your feelings. He asked for the starting five, bro. If he said the best team, I'm taking 2006 every time. If he asked for the best team, I'm taking us. He asked for starting five, bro. Damn. Damn, baby.
And Big Baby know he got to put Shaq up in there. He playing.
Man, he in his feelings, man.
Yo, man, listen. Let me tell you something right now, man. Like, this has probably been the most vulnerable interview I've done. And I thank you for opening up to me and giving us the real about everything, man. I totally appreciate you. Like I said, man, I'm happy you going back to school, man. I'm happy that you in a place where you at right now, man. Thank you so much for coming on tonight, man. I appreciate you, man.
I appreciate you.
No doubt,
Thank you
man.
for having me, man.
Nah, for sure, man. For sure. I appreciate you, man. And you stay safe in this pandemic down there for sure.
Hey, man, you too, man. You too.
Appreciate
hey,
you.
love.
Yes, sir.
Appreciate it, baby.